Okay, everybody. I hope you can hear me. This is Michelle, and I'm ready to start our virtual group today, which we're going to be talking about the holidays and how to navigate those holiday celebrations that are coming up. But first, just want to do a little housekeeping. So I want to remind everybody that we are recording this, and in order to get your credit for your PERCA points for attendance, you'll need to complete a brief online survey at the end of class. And so just make sure that if you want the PERCA point to hang out to the end, and it'll redirect you to our survey. Okay? And so with that, I want to get started. Okay. All right, so can everybody see the presentation? If you can just give me a quick, yep, we're here, that would be wonderful. All right. And everybody can hear me? Super. All right, great. So we will get started. Recently I've had a number of patients who have been really stressing and coming to me and saying, I'm having a lot of anxiety. Somebody doesn't see the presentation. Robbie. Okay. All right, good. Oh. Can everybody see me now? Sorry. Okay, great. Yeah, I've never been super tech savvy, so I appreciate everybody hanging in there with me. So like I was saying, a lot of folks have been coming to me and talking about how they are getting very stressed and anxious about the upcoming holiday season and how to navigate all of those celebrations. Okay. So today we're going to talk about having a healthy and happy holiday season. The things that we're going to broach on today are, I'm hungry, so we're going to talk about eating, want to drink, because drinking is really part of many celebrations, what's cooking, let's party, and finally having an action plan. So with that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Holidays, as we know, are a time for decorating, shopping, entertaining, and eating. Folks usually gain between 1 and 5 pounds on average, and the exercise doesn't necessarily keep up with those extra holiday calories, as I'm sure many of you, myself included, have experienced. In the past 20 years, there's been a sharp decrease in exercise, while our intake remains the same and pretty steady. Less than 50% of holiday revelers will set New Year's resolutions, but less than 10% will be successful in achieving their goal. I don't know why we seem to feel that New Year's is the time that we want to get started with making a change. Don't pick one day, or don't feel like you have to pick one day in the year to decide to do it differently. Every day is an opportunity for you to do that. Holidays, though, are not notoriously the best time to try to lose weight or start a new exercise routine. There's a lot of celebration going on, a lot of going out and pop-up things. So, we want to set ourselves up for success, and the best way to do that is to be able to give yourself permission to enjoy the season and indulge mindfully, but not, kind of go completely left on where our nutrition and our dietary goals are. So we can still enjoy the holiday season, but keeping in mind that, what we're doing here in program is important too, and how can we mix the two of them. Which brings me to my last point, enjoy in moderation. We also want to remember the holidays are a time to enjoy friends, family, time off, and traditions. Okay, so first thing is about choosing wisely. We want to reach for the lighter pieces of meat which have less fat. So the dark meat is tasty because fat is flavor, and that's where all the fat is in the darker meat. We also want to remember when we're having that turkey or that roast chicken to remove the skin. That's a huge source of saturated fat. When we're talking about things like sauces and gravies, if possible, and a lot of times you're going to have to do this by eye, it's a tablespoon. So, you put a small spoon on, just enough to drizzle and give it a flavor without drowning it in that sauce or the gravy. And try to keep the dressing off or to the side and minimal amounts. So a lot of this is just going to be some good common sense and kind of walking yourself through the obvious, which is it's all there. That doesn't mean because it's there, I'm going to consume it all. You keep portions in check and pass on seconds or thirds. Don't forget your energy budget. Consume what you know you will burn in exercise and maintain your weight. So, yeah, portion control is going to be key to your success here. And a little bit of restraint if everything looks just extra delicious, which I'm sure it will be. It's just doing one pass around the table. Okay. As far as sweets and added sugars, yeah, we want to be really careful with these, including those sugar-sweetened beverages, and I'm not necessarily at this point talking about alcohol. So be mindful about that. Make sure there's water on the table or seltzer that at least you can cut it with, or choose that as an option instead. Be careful with casseroles. They're tasty, but a little bit goes a long way, suffice it to say. So pair it with lots of roasted or sauteed vegetables and a tossed salad. We definitely want to make sure that we're getting our greens in there. With dressing, it should complement. Think of it about complementing the meal and about a serving spoon size or a quarter of a cup. It should not become the main component on the plate. Okay. With regard to dessert, I would never tell you don't have dessert. That's silly, right? We all enjoy dessert, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just a sample size, like a bite. All right, so a bite of pie, half a cookie, small square of fudge, if those are the things. The other things that I've been telling patients is, if you're faced with a table full of things, look at that carefully, scan your options, and pick 2 or 3 that are your must-haves, that you cannot walk away without having. And you put those on your plate, and then eat half, so you get a taste of it, and enjoy that taste, right? Don't just swallow it. Really just bite it, chew it, enjoy it, that mindfulness in eating. And leave the other half on your plate, and then very discreetly you throw it away. Throw the rest away. Because if you have it there, the temptation is going to be to eat it. And the longer it sits there, the greater that temptation is going to be. So this is a way for you to be able to enjoy and indulge in the holiday celebration without necessarily feeling like you're beholden to food. You're in control. Okay, limit. So we definitely want to limit the sweets, the added sugars, the sugar-sweetened beverages, your salt, and your saturated fat. Now, when we're talking about drinking, enjoy non-alcoholic versions of your favorite cocktails for a decrease in calories. Right? You want to read the label and watch for high sugars. So a lot of those non-alcoholic versions, well, they don't have the sugar from the alcohol, they'll have the sugar from, whatever's in the rest of the mix. So just be mindful of that. And again, a great way to kind of monitor that is to cut it with a little bit of water or club soda. Okay? Drink with caution. Alcohol lessens inhibitions and it increases overeating and makes everything on the table look so good. Dilute. So drink a glass of water or sparkling soda between each cocktail. This will help fill you up and it leaves less room for overindulging. Now with eggnog, that's a pretty popular beverage, and I thought, this might be kind of fun to sneak in A neat little recipe that you could try at home, or if you're going out to a party, it's something nice to bring that you could drink. So with eggnog, fill your glass a half to 3/4 of the way with low-fat or skim milk and 1 part of the eggnog. So you're getting all the flavor without all the calories. But if you want to make a quick holiday nog on your own, I included this recipe and the sources there at in parentheses. So it's 4 bananas, 1½ cups of soy or skim milk, 1½ cups of non-fat yogurt, 1/4 teaspoon, it says run extract, but I'm pretty sure you know it's rum, sorry about that, and ground nutmeg. Okay, so blend all except for the nutmeg, puree it in a blender or food processor if that's what you have, until smooth, and then top it with nutmeg. So what you're really doing is you're just getting the flavors of eggnog. It's a flavor of the holiday without necessarily all the extra calories and the caloric indulgence from the alcohol. Okay, with hot chocolate. So we have options. Go light. So you can ask for it to be made with low-fat or skim milk and without whipped cream. Go easy on the toppings. Use a pinch of mini marshmallows rather than the big ones. And use low-fat whipped cream. Or, here's your option, have a smaller serving of the traditional hot chocolate treats. This saves calories and fat. So just remember, you always have an option. If you want to make it yourself, or you can choose lighter versions, or you can choose to indulge and have a smaller amount of something that's more traditional. Alternatives. Find low-fat, non-dairy, and non-alcoholic versions to cut the calories and fat in any drink. Okay. And this one I thought, when I saw this recipe for apple cider, hot apple cider, I thought this was really fun and looked pretty tasty. So apple cider, we would definitely want to read the labels. Choosing low sugar and sugar-free options is ideal. Many contain added sugars, which increase calories, leading to weight gain. Or you can make it yourself. So use unsweetened apple juice and add spices like cinnamon sticks, cloves, nutmeg, and whole cranberries. And the recipe I included, I have not made this yet, but as it gets close to the holiday, I definitely want to brew up a batch of this. So it's 2 bags of the Celestial Seasoning Cinnamon Apple Spice Tea, a lemon wedge, some stevia, and 8 ounces of water. It couldn't be more simple. Boil your water and pour it over 2 tea bags, let it steep for a few minutes, and then add the stevia and the juice from 1 lemon. That's it. It's sugar-free apple cider that is calorie-free and tastes just like the real thing. So again, you're getting the flavor and the spirit of the holidays in the drink without all the excess sugar and calories. Okay, and then I want to talk about some simple substitutions that can make a really big difference when you're cooking. So one of them is trying to swap out a mix of light mayo and plain non-fat Greek yogurt for cold dips using mayonnaise. Dips using cream cheese use a mix of low-fat and fat-free cream cheese. So, especially with cheeses, using fat-free does not really work out well as far as taste and mouthfeel. So there's nothing wrong with saying, okay, I'm not going to go totally one way where I'm cutting out the fat completely, because fat is flavor, but using a mix of different options that are lower fat, and in this case using the Greek yogurt, higher protein, can have some definite advantages. For cheesy casseroles, you want to reduce cheese and butter by 25 to 50% by using low-fat versions of many common casserole ingredients like sour cream, cream cheese, and condensed soups. And especially for the condensed soups, you can use fat-free and you can't tell the difference at all, especially when you're mixing it with all those other ingredients. So that's a great way to cut some calories. And then stuffing is a must-have. So adding some extra sauteed vegetables like carrots, onions, mushrooms, and celeries will help kind of offset all those carbs from the bread. Just simple, quick fixes. Remove the skin before eating to reduce saturated fat and calories on your poultry. Make dinner rolls whole grain for added fiber. And with butter, put out some trans fat-free margarine spreads as well. So again, you're giving yourself and your guests an option. while still allowing them to indulge and enjoy in the holiday spirit. If you're making a fruit pie, you can cut back on the sugar in the recipe. It'll still be deliciously sweet due to all the natural sugars in the fruit. So if you're taking out a half a cup of sugar, those berries, that fruit won't know the difference. Mashed potatoes, use skim milk, chicken broth, garlic and garlic powder, and some Parmesan cheese for the whole milk and butter. Something like a green bean casserole. Cook fresh green beans with chunks of potatoes in low-fat cream soup and top with almonds instead of fried onion rings. With your turkey, roasted turkey breast is juicy and delicious, and without the skin, you'll save 11 grams of saturated fat per 3-ounce serving. With your gravy, refrigerate it to harden the fat. It'll rise to the top, and then you can just skim it off. This will save you a whopping 56 grams of fat. And, I think savoring the flavor, I think, using those mindfulness skills that you all have been exposed to by now, and just really tasting the food for what it is, can make it so much more enjoyable. Using herbs and spices like rosemary and cloves to flavor dishes instead of salt and butter is really nice. And you'll learn to really appreciate the food for what it is, rather than everything that's kind of put on top of it and mixed with it, that you can't taste. You can't really taste the food. You just taste a lot of salt and fat. When using canned beans, remember to rinse them, and you will lose 41% of the sodium with that. So rinse and drain once or twice, 41% of the salt goes away. All right, so when you're at the party, absent hors d'oeuvres at work parties, there's usually a list of people, volunteers who are going to bring your dishes. So sign up and make a heart-healthy option, leaving yourself at least one good choice. The whole point of this is to set yourself up for success, and that's a great way to do it. Come prepared. Having a high-fiber snack like a handful of almonds or a small apple if the party is at lunch, to a protein-packed lunch like grilled fish or chicken with a salad, and an extra high-fiber snack if the party is after work will help you avoid the starving syndrome and overeating once you arrive. Thinking it through. Avoid loading up on foods that are fried, buttered, or have lots of cream and cheese. Even though they're bites, they are fat-laden and can really pack a punch. So stick with fruit, veggies, and dip, grain crackers, or grilled items. So it's kind of like the more whole, the better, right? When you can see what it is and identify it, that's probably going to be a safer choice for you than what is wrapped up and has some kind of sauce on it. Okay? Desserts, I always say this, sharing is caring. Splitting a dessert helps cut the calories and avoids being wasteful. But it still allows you to enjoy and get your sweet tooth on. All right, so lastly, we're finally at the action plan. So being realistic. One of the biggest reasons for failure is that we often set unrealistic goals, like trying to exercise each day for 1 hour. Rather, try to squeeze some activity into your day, such as walking around the mall, when you're shopping perhaps, taking the stairs rather than the elevator, and standing more during the day. Undue perfection. Another pitfall that we all kind of fall into is that all or nothing attitude. It's okay to indulge in some holiday treats or skip a day or 2 or 3 of working out. It's understandable. It's just like when you go on vacation. We know it's not going to be perfection. The important thing is that you don't let those turn into weeks and then months of unhealthy behaviors. Accepting the hiccups will allow you to prepare yourself and deal with the setbacks. Buddy up. So people who do activities together, working out and nutrition journeying, are more likely to stick with it. Why do you think I say that? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Why is it better to have a buddy? Motivation, accountability, yeah, keeping you honest. These are all great answers. Accountability, definitely. Yeah, you're not alone. All great answers and all true, right? Motivation is highest when you have somebody to share that load with, and accountability at the top. I mean, all of your answers are great, and they're all true. So just another reason to get somebody else involved and kind of go through the process with a friend. Absolutely. Keeping it fun. We do things that we like. So if the gym isn't your thing, try taking a walk, run, watch yoga, do something on DVD. Find your sweet space, or your sweet spot, whatever that is. So if it's doing Tai Chi, if it's doing boxing, if it's doing walking, just find what is good for you, because those are the things that you're going to stick with. And make it convenient. If you're pressed for time, don't spend it driving to the gym. Try exercising at home and keep healthy foods on your counter so that they're easy to grab when you're hungry. Benjamin says, don't forget you can still hike during the winter. Great exercise, but remember to dress warmly. Absolutely. Dress in layers. Good point. It's true. We can. Just because it's cooler outside doesn't mean that we have to keep it completely inside. Good point. And that's really it. I'm hoping that you found some tips that are helpful. You do have access to the PowerPoint. So with that, I'll ask if there are any closing questions. If not, then stand by and do your survey real quick, and then enjoy the rest of your day. And I want everybody to enjoy their holidays. Have a great one. Okay. It's my pleasure, you guys. Yes, it will be the same class. And that's going to be held not tonight, but Thursday. Okay. As far as everybody, you're all welcome. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I hope you found some things that were really helpful. And try to keep the anxiety down. You're going to be fine. You're doing a great job, and take the things that you've learned in programming and just apply them and take a deep breath. As far as how you log recipes, I'm not sure, Benjamin, what are you using to log? Is it MyFitnessPal? Fitbit. I'm not sure about Fitbit. I know, I'm not too familiar with that, but I know in MyFitnessPal and I think in Lose It, you can just put each ingredient in. So whatever your recipe is, you can basically put that in and then divide it by, when you're figuring out how many servings, just if it's 6, you put in that it serves 6 and then that you had 1 of that, and it should calculate it. I'm not sure about if it's like MyFitnessPal, then you should just be able to put all the ingredients in and just list how many it serves so you know. So it's... Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Have a great holiday, okay?